Okay, welcome. I want to welcome everybody from Mumbai, the Blavatsky Lodge, part of the Bombay Theosophical Federation. Welcome everybody. Good morning. Welcome everybody from our lodge, the Ojai Valley Lodge of the Theosophical Society here in Ojai. And then it sounds like we have people from Canada to other parts of India, and we welcome everybody. Just a little short story. I met these three wonderful ladies from Mumbai. Pablo and I did 3 years ago. I think it was about 2000.
2 years back.
2 years
2
back.
years.
In Adyar. Pablo was giving the School of the Wisdom there. And they were there, so we met them, got to know a little about them. They invited us to a fire ritual at the Zoroastrian temple on the grounds of Adyar. And I wanted to mention a little note that I don't know if everybody knows that on the grounds there, they have temples for many of the different religions. And so they have a little Zoroastrian temple that we were able to visit. We were very lucky. So I thank everybody. Thank you guys for that. Sister Aban, you told me that I've given enough introduction by saying that you are a lifetime Zoroastrian.
Yes.
And you were a teacher and a banker and a senior member of the Theosophical Society there.
Good morning as well as good evening, everybody. Before I start my talk, let me wish you all very happy, healthy, joyous New Year 2021. Year 2020 had been a difficult year for all around the world. Hope we leave all that behind and start afresh with full vigor and zest. With our Master's grace, we all have survived and seem to be in good health. At the outset, I wish to thank the president of this wonderful lodge, Sister Michelle, for giving me this opportunity to speak on the subject Zoroastrianism. I bring greetings from Blavatsky Lodge and Shanti Lodge of Mumbai, along with Bombay Theosophical Federation. My co-lodge members, Kashmira Khambata and Aban Patel, too have given inputs to prepare this talk, and for that, I'm very grateful to them. Thank you, Aban, and thank you, Kashmira. My today's topic on Zoroastrianism has been divided into 3 parts. 1, history of Zoroastrianism in Persia-Iran with the teachings of Prophet Zarathushtra. Next. Persians, then second part will be Persians migrating to India 700 AD due to their persecution by Arabs and our religious ceremony, customs and rituals followed in India till date. Lastly, of course, discussion and questions and answers, if any. Next. Zoroastrianism takes its name from their prophet Zoroaster. His Persian name is Zarathustra, meaning thereby golden shining star. However, the Greeks called him as Zoroaster, hence the religion Zoroastrianism. It is also known as Mazdayasni Zartushti Din, because even before the birth of his last incarnating soul of Zarathustra, some 6,000 years ago, the Persians followed this religion of Ahura Mazda, the supreme and transcendental God. Before the birth of Prophet Zarathustra, there was chaos and cruelty brought on people by ruthless, unscrupulous rulers. So, in answer to Mother Earth's request for peace and freedom on earth, Ahura Mazda sent Zarathustra. Next. At the birth of Zarathustra, nature rejoiced with these words: Ushtano zato atravayo spitama Zarathustra, meaning, blessed are we that the prophet Zarathustra is born. Zarathustra was born to father Paurushaspa and mother Dogdo, who were highly commendable pure souls. It is said that at his birth, he had a smile on his face and that his aura spread light all over the town. His opponents somehow came to know that their nemesis is approaching. And so they tried to kill the child several times. However, through divine intervention, his life was saved. Zarathustra grew up as a youth given to deep meditation and spent 10 years in mountain retreat, learning to solve many problems of life that baffled men. Seven Ameshaspantas. Ahura Mazda revealed to him the divine message of purity, uprightness, and truth, and to follow the dictums of Humata, Hukata, Huvarashta. That is, good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. This is the foundation of our religion, Zoroastrianism. This was the first ancient monotheistic religion preached by Zarathustra at a time when the ancestors of Western nations were offering human victims to their deities. He preached that there is only one absolute, supreme, all-pervasive source and fountain of life called Ahura Mazda. He is assisted by 6 Ameshaspantas, the holy immortals, archangels. These are the ones, all these pictures. And emanating, all these immortal archangels emanating from him and representing his attributes to rule over kingdoms of nature and animals. These Ameshaspantas were helped by 33 Yazatas or angels in their work. This is the first religion which was eco-friendly, believing in preserving and respecting all creations of nature and to be thankful for the same and not to exploit it, as that would seriously disturb ecological balance to the detriment of mankind. It also preaches that ashoy, that is purity of not only body and mind, but also purity of environment and all elements of nature like fire, water, air, earth, and space, plant life and animal life must be observed. Next. Sorry. Sun is specially mentioned in the most beautiful body of God, which gives light on earth. But people needed a symbol, which is a small in compass, which would remind his glory, that is light, heat, energy, vitality, and virility. So fire became the symbol. The Mazdayasni people founded temples and tended the fire there. These temples are known as fire temples or Atash Behram. Atash, that is fire, is considered to be the most adorable son of Ahura Mazda, the emblem of the most bountiful creator. It does not borrow the heat and light from other creations, but bestows these upon others. Every Zoroastrian bows to the sacred fire which burns in the fire temples or in his house. The consecrated fires in the fire temples not only give out light and heat from the altar, but within the shrine is the aura, chore, of the Almighty, kept glowing through the presence of invisible guardian angel. Our homage is thus to this occult presence that is supposed to bless the devotees who offer their devotion. There are several other aspects of fire, though invisible but real. They are the energy within each atom, one that makes a seed and a cell to reproduce our vital essence, like the fire of emotions, the fire of quick decisions and inspiration, the fire that burns all dross in our character through willpower, and the fire that is our inner instructor. Zarathustra's message of purity, righteousness, truth, and love was for entire humanity. Ahura Mazda remained the one, the omniscient source of existence. He unfolded the twin forces of nature, namely Spenta Mainu, the benevolent spirit, that is life aspect, and Angra Mainu, the destructive spirit or form aspect. It is up to us to follow the right path, as we humans are endowed with thinking mind. Hence, we have freedom of choice. His triple aspects are Ahu, the creator, Vahumana, the good mind, the preserver, and Asha Vahishta, the reconstructor. The religion of Zarathustra was not easily accepted by the people of Persia. But Zarathustra, with great courage and purity of soul, overcame all his adversary and was eventually successful to convince the king Vishtaspa, who accepted Zarathustra's message and made Zoroastrianism the state religion. From now onwards, Zoroastrianism flourished. They followed the path of righteousness, purity, and truth. Since Zoroastrianism was the state religion, the priests and the scholars were encouraged to write. The books on prayers, religion, science, and literature flourished. Annie Besant writes in the book of Zoroastrianism, out of the teachings of religious philosophy and science, there grew up the ethic, which down to the present day is the glory of the Zoroastrian creed. The most unfortunate history of Persia is that their rich library of Persepolis was burnt down by the Greek emperor Alexander in 329 BC. Only some remnants of these books remained. They are the Visparad, the Yasanas, which comprise of 5 gathas or hymns which came from the mouth of the prophet himself. They are Ahunavaiti Gatha, Ushtavaiti Gatha, Spentamainu Gatha, Vahukhashra Gatha, and Vahishta Gatha. The oldest language is Avesta, now extinct except in the prayer books. Out of 21 Nast, that is treatises, which dealt with medicine, astronomy, agriculture, botany, and philosophy, with whole range of science and laws, only one remained. Only one remained. However, the priests and scholars put together whatever they could and continued with life. In course of time, many battles were won and lost. But I will talk about the first battle won by the Emperor Cyrus the Great in 550 BC at Babylon, and the last battle lost by King Yazdazad in 640 AD. Next. Cyrus the Great is well known for his mercy and human rights. His first conquest was in 550 BC, when he conquered Babylon and freed all captive Jews to go back to their homeland. He helped them build their temple of Solomon in Jerusalem. He is spoken of very highly by the Jews as the anointed of the Lord. You all must have heard about the Cyrus cylinder, which is in British Museum now. It is a clay cylinder on which is written a declaration in cuneiform script. It is recognized as the world's first Charter of Human Rights. It is translated into 6 official languages of United Nations, and its provisions parallel the first 4 articles of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. These are the pictures of Cyrus the Great. This is the Cyrus cylinder, and this is the small portion which has been taken out to illustrate what cuneiform is. Next. The last battle was fought on the Persian soil was by King Yazdazad in 641 AD, which he lost to the Arabs' invasion. This changed the history and geography of the Zarathushtis of Persia, but not their religion, Zoroastrianism. Arabs wanted Zarathushtis to accept Islam as their religion or face persecution. Hence, to save the religion, the learned dasturs or priests decided to bid farewell to their dear country and set sail to the south, to a country with which they had trade relations, that is India. They left the port of Paras in Persia, and so when they landed in India, they were known as Parsis. Now, a new chapter started in the lives of Zarathushtis, who were known as Parsis by the Indians. The legend goes that in 700 AD, when they landed on a small port on the west coast of India, the head of the princely state, named King Jadirana, refused to give shelter, stating that there is no place in his kingdom to add any more people, since neither of the party could understand each other's language. The Indian king showed a bowl of milk filled to the brim, indicating that there is no space in his land. Then the learned head priest took out some sugar and put it in the milk, indicating that we are very few, and as the sugar sweetens the milk, we will blend with you all and sweeten your country. The king was impressed and welcomed the Persians to live and practice their religion, but with certain conditions, as to learn the language Gujarati, which was the state language. Men and women should change the dress code and dress up as they do, and not to proselyte anyone into Zoroastrianism, and many more. I'm proud to say that we fulfilled all these conditions and made our adopted country as our own, and always worked for the prosperity, blending with them as promised. Next. The second stage for Zarathushti started in their adopted land, India. Since they were given the liberty to follow their religion, they scrupulously followed the rites and rituals which they followed in Persia. They built fire temples, big and small, and followed all the liturgical prayers, traditions, and customs. The biggest fire temple in India is in a small town, Udwada, in Gujarat, where Zarathushtis from all over the world come to pay their obeisance and pray to the highest of the high, fire burning there. These are the facades of this fire temple in Udwada. Next. In course of time, they started business and industries. They had trade relations with neighboring countries as well as with China. The house of Tatas, with their ethical business techniques, created a huge empire of industries. This is the founder, Jamshedji Tata. The Wadiyas were the first shipbuilders whose ships sailed the ocean of the world as far back as early 18th century. The Pitits, the Godrej, the house of architects Shapurji Palanji, and more industrialists and business houses came on the scene. Parsis believed in the dictum, happiness is to those who make others happy. Hence, they shared their wealth with others, especially with the lower strata of society. Many charitable institutions like old age homes, hospitals for people, as also for animals were built. Educational institutions like schools, colleges for higher studies also started by them. Because of this altruism and philanthropy, the adage, Parsi, thy name is charity, became prevalent. However, the community never exceeded in number, that is in population, compared to other Indians. They participated in independence movement of India and donated handsome amounts for the fight for independence. Mahatma Gandhi said, I quote, Parsis in number are beneath contempt, but in charity beyond compare. Next. How will one identify a Zartushti? Every Zartushti must wear a sudre and a kusti. This is a sudre, which is like a vest, and this is the kusti. I will talk about that. This is an initiation ceremony called Naujot ceremony. That is new entrant. Naujot means new entrant. Every girl and boy between the ages of 7 and 11 has to pass through an initiation rite, that is Naujot, formally embracing the religion of Zarathustra. The initiate must recite certain prayers along with the priest. Then the child is presented with two emblems of Zartushti faith. The first is Sudre, a vest made of cotton fabric. In front of the neckline, there is a small pocket called Gireban, which signifies collection of virtuous deeds. This signifies the armor to fight against the evils. The second emblem is Kusti, a girdle, which is tied on the waist. That is the middle part of the body, signifying moderation in everything and to fight against evils. Sudre and Kusti play a vital part in the development of an overall personality, and so it is mandatory that a Zartushti must wear Sudre and Kusti all the time, day and night, 24/7, and do the Kusti ritual prayer in all 5 days, that is time period. It is customary that head is covered by men, women, and children while praying and at every religious ceremony. Next. All the prayers which are in ancient language are based on mitra, that is thought force, and mantra, that is sound vibrations. The daily prayer book, sorry, called Khorde Avastha, has all the important prayers praising the bountiful manifestations of Ahura Mazda. However, the three short and most effective prayers are Yatha Ahuvairyo, Ashem Vohu, and Yenge Hatam, which are said to be the words coming from the mouth of Prophet Zarathushtra. There are extracts of long prayers known as nirangs or capsules, which are also highly effective. There are special prayers for each natural element, that is sun, moon, sky, stars, air, water, and fire. A Zarathustri calendar has 12 months, each month representing Ameshaspantas and their helpers, Yazatas, and each of 30 days of a month also has a name of these holy immortals. The last 5 days of a year are called Gathas. The 5 Gathas are the divine hymns, is said to be the conversation between Ahura Mazda and Prophet Zarathushtra, which forms important part of prayers. Apart from that, there are liturgical prayers of Yasna, Visparad, and Vandidad, which are recited by the priest during higher ceremonies or rituals in fire temples. Now, what is day? A day is divided into 5 parts of time period called gaze. Gaze is a Persian word which we are using for all 5 times. They are Havan, Rapithwan, Uziran, Avishutrum, and Hussein. Starting from sunrise to sunset are the first 3 gaze, and the last 2 from sunset to next day's sunrise. Esoterically, these signify the journey of the human soul, starting with the awakening to finally when it arrives to attain the adaptation. Next. Daily rituals. Every Zarathushti household daily make decoration of rangoli with lime powder and colors at the threshold, like this. On auspicious days, floral garlands decorate the doorways, and families cook sweet vermicelli sprinkled with dry fruits and enjoy with friends and family. Parsis are fun-loving and celebrate all festivals of other sister communities also. They are tolerant of other religions and are therefore loved and respected by all. Next. This is the newly wedded couple. These are the rings that they exchange. This is the platform which is decorated where the ceremony is done. And these are some small things which are always utilized during Navjot, Navar, as well as good occasions. Marriage ceremony is also given great importance. Marriage is not a contract, but it is a sacred union of two souls and an obligation on part of each other to consider it as the lifelong tie. In early days, marriages were done by matching the horoscopes of a boy and a girl, and the parents played an important role in deciding the marriage. But now days are different, and the choice is mostly by the two individuals who decide to lead a life together. But the customs and rituals are the same. 3 days before the actual day of wedding, certain prayers are offered in the fire temple by the priest, invoking the blessings of the archangels. Prayers are also offered to the departed souls, inviting them to bless the occasion. On the day of the wedding, two witnesses, each of the bride and the groom, are present on the platform. When the priests start blessings for the wedded couple, these prayers are mostly the sermons for the young couple to lead a life of purity, righteousness, and tolerance. The priests bless the couple of healthy life with prosperity and advice for increasing of the progeny. Lastly, feasting, singing, and dancing by the family and friends end this ceremony. Next. Navar ceremony. This is a special pagdi which all priests, when they are doing liturgical or any ceremony, they have to wear. This is the symbol that this person is a priest. Otherwise, we also have caps and scarves to cover our heads, but this is only worn by the ordained priest. Navar ceremony, meaning the navigator. Every religion has their own priests whose duty is to learn the scriptures, teach the precepts of religion, perform the liturgical ceremony, and guide their flock. In Zoroastrianism, priesthood is hereditary. Only a son of a priest can be ordained as priest. A youth who is between 11 and 15 years has to learn certain prayers by heart. Prior to the Navar ceremony, he must remain in the fire temple premises in the strict seclusion and continue to do the assigned prayers in all 5 gaze, that is the watch time. The preparatory period is of almost 24 days. The final ceremony of Navar is witnessed by the family members and friends. However, for certain liturgical ceremonies, further studies of the scriptures are to be done by the aspirant. Next. Life after death and the ceremony to be performed. According to Zarathustra, a human being does not have only one body. There are 7 bodies, as we have learned in Theosophy. There are 4 mortal bodies. First, Tanu, that is physical. Second, Kehrap, that is etheric. Third, Ushtan, that is vital force. Fourth, Tevishi, that is astral. 3 immortal bodies are Uruvan, that is causal, incarnating soul. Second, Podang, Buddhic, intuitions. Third, Fravashi, that is monad, the divine spark. It does not incarnate, but remains as a guardian angel, also known as Farohar. So much similarity between Zoroastrianism and Theosophy. At death, the Tanu, that is physical body, is cast aside along with the Kehrab, that is etheric double, and Ushtan, that is vital life force, leaves the body and returns to the sun. The body is cleaned and bathed, wrapped up in clean white clothes, along with Sudre and Kushti, keeping the face open, is kept aside where certain prayers and rituals are done. Two priests say the prayer of first Gatha Anuvaiti, which is very effective in separating the soul from the Maya and desires of the world. Then the body is consigned to the Tower of Silence in the open, so that the birds of prey, and more importantly, the sunlight and air can do the work of decomposition as quickly as possible. Prayers and ceremonies are done for all 3 days, and on the dawn of 4th day, higher liturgical prayers are done by the priest as the soul reaches the bridge of the separator, known as Chinvat Pul, where the archangel Sarosh, with his assistant Rashnu, weighs the deeds done on earth, and its further journey is decided accordingly. Good many prayers and ceremonies are done for the departed souls during the first year of their passing away. There is a belief that departed souls collectively attend special prayers during the last 10 days of the Zoroastrian calendar called Muktad. If you see this word in Sanskrit, Muktad means mukti. It gives mukti to the Atma. It separates the body from and they remain in that domain only. During these days, flowers and incense are offered, and prayers are done by the family members of the departed souls, as well as the priests in the fire temples. It is said that these souls feel very happy that they are remembered, and they in turn bless them. Next. Farohar or Fravashi. These are all the pictures. This is the most ancient one from Iran, and these are, of course, all the latest ones. Farohar is the Zarathushtra emblem. This is the sacred emblem and is widely used on the facades of temples or any holy place of Zoroastrian importance. Depicted in an architecture as a winged bird is the spirit, the divine spark or monad, which does not incarnate, but remains as a guardian angel. It is the center of will, determination, and planning faculty. The right hand indicates the path of Asha, perfect balance of harmony, this hand, and peace. The left hand has a ring here. Being circular, which has no beginning nor end, that is eternal. And lastly, the wings, the path that chose to soar higher or willed to grow. Next. Michelle, your favorite book, Man, Whence, How, and Whither. And this is our Cordeavasta prayer book. Zoroastrianism in the light of Theosophy. According to theosophical teachings, millions of years ago, the lords of the flame came from Venus and established a hierarchy of inner government which rules all religions. To the third Aryan subrace came Zarathustra, the great teacher of humanity. He came as a prophet at the beginning of the Iranian subrace. There is a lot of ambiguity about the date of his birth. However, since he was the seventh line of teachers, the assigned date is taken as 7000 BC. Next. Theory of creation with evolution. There are 6 gambars, that is periods during which the entire universe came into being. They are Maidio Zarem Gambar, a period in which heavenly canopy was formed. Second, Maidio Shahem Gambar, that is period in which water was precipitated from the steaming clouds. Third, Paiti Shahem Gambar, period in which Earth became consolidated out of cosmic atoms. Fourth, Ayathrim Gambar, period in which Earth gave birth to vegetation. Maidyarem Gambar, the period in which vegetation evolved into animal life. And lastly, the 6th, Hamespithamaidem Gambar, the period in which animal life culminated into man with fully developed consciousness and intelligence. To commemorate these periods, on certain days, according to Zoroastrian calendar, special prayers are offered in the fire temples, and people of all strata of society, rich and poor, young and old, partake in the feast, sitting together, showing bonhomie with all. Here they are all eating. We all fond of food. Next. From this talk, it can be surmised that Zoroastrianism, if studied deeply, one will find many similarities with the study of theosophy and science. I will end my talk with this anecdote, which I heard some years ago in a lecture by a scientist working for Baba Atomic Research Center. This is Homi Baba. He's supposed to be the father of atomic energy in India. Anyway, he's no more now. I will end, I had heard some years ago in a lecture by a scientist. That scientist was working for Baba Atomic Research Center in Mumbai, who was also an erudite scholar of Zoroastrianism and an ordained priest. He said, I quote, "When I was young, I was told by my elders that our religion, Zoroastrianism, is based on science. But as I grew up and studied science in detail, I realized that science is based on my religion, that is Zoroastrianism." Thank you. Bibliography, should I read out that? Okay. I have taken, should I?
Yes, go ahead.
I have taken my talk the script is full of all these, and I thank all these books and manuscripts for making my talk this. Message of Zarathustra, a manual of Zoroastrianism by Dastur Khurshid Dabu, Virtual Center for Theosophical Studies, Zoroastrianism and 7 Great Religions by Dr. N.E. Besant, and lastly, Tryst with the Divine by Behram Pithawala. There are many who have helped me, and I say thank you to all of them and to you all. This is only an emblem of goodwill, goodness. Whenever there is any good occasion, these things are taken out. They are usually made of silver. Thank you very much. I end my talk. If there are any questions and answers.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That was a lot of work, and that was wonderful for us to be part of. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on your platform.
Yes. Let's go ahead and open it to any questions that anybody might have. You'll have to unmute yourself and kind of just start talking since there's so many of us. I'll start with a simple question. Zoroastrianism seems very detailed, and I'm wondering, I think we had talked before that the numbers of participants, I'm guessing, has gone down like most religions have. But I'm wondering what you think about, I know right now, at least with my children and other students that I've taught, it seems like there's too much freedom. And so they don't know what to do. And that structure of a religion may be coming back. Do you see any sign of that?
I would like to say that we are known as Parsis in India, who it is more or less, not even more than 100,000 in all over the world, but not Zoroastrians. Zoroastrians are spread out in many countries, very many places. And now, slowly and gradually, with this information and technology which is coming on the TV and on the laptops and on the screen in our own homes, we have come to know there are many Zoroastrians in all over the world. So I feel the Parsis, which is an ethnic name because we came from Paras, we are known as Parsis. This is not a religion. Parsi is not a religion. Zoroastrianism is the religion, and it will never die down. It will continue to, the fire never dies. It just goes up and up and up. This is my take.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I think Maria has a question.
Yes, I have. Let's see.
Nope. You're muted now. Unmute. There you go. You're good.
Okay, thank you. How do you manage the traditional way of managing death when it may not be possible to leave the body out to decompose naturally? Have you embraced cremation, for example? How is that managed in other, since Parsis are Zoroastrians are spread so far and wide? Are there differences now in managing that time?
Yes. Sorry. This is the question which comes in the mind of many people. But when I was going through the slides, you must have seen where the bodies are disposed. There is a well-like thing which is known as Star of Silence. In most of the places wherever there are Zoroastrians, there is, along with the fire temple, which are in the city, a Tower of Silence is also built far away from the city, much in open. In earlier days, they used to put the bodies on the mountain tops, and there it was getting decomposed. But here in towns and places, wherever it is possible, it is there. But in every place, it is not there. There are many Zoroastrians who are in North America, in Canada, US, everywhere. There, they follow the system which is prevalent in their country. If usually cremation takes place, and there is no taboo about that. But in Bombay, it is required that it should be placed in the Tower of Silence. But even here, there are certain people who feel that they want to be cremated and they go for cremation. Electric cremation, not on the firewood. We have electric cremation. That is what I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Aban, I would like to add something.
Yes, please.
Before the body goes to the Tower of Silence, it is mandatory that the dogs sniff the body and affirm that the breath of life has left the body. This you have missed out.
See, in earlier days, there were no doctors to give the certificate that the person is dead, isn't it? That is why, they had that system to bring the dog, because dog has got a real sense which he can find out whether the body is alive or dead. That is scientific way of knowing. But nowadays, no one will touch the body till the doctor's certificate is there to take it to the prayer hall or wherever it is for cremation or for Tower of Silence. So, but to continue with this method, which was ancient, as I told you, our religion has changed into geography and history, but not in the customs. Zoroastrianism has remained. And secondly, there is no harm if a dog is brought there, so that if by chance, of course it cannot be, if there is a doubt, then usually dog does not even look there. He just turns because he knows it's only a dead body. I hope you have understood this.
All right, thank you.
Anyone
I have a
else?
question.
Yeah.
When is the period of Mahud? It said it's a 10-day period at the end.
Muqtad. Yes, it is the last days, 10 days of a Zoroastrian calendar, which comes for us in the month of somewhere in August.
August. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Michelle, this is my another daughter, Tina's. Tina's, just unmute yourself and say hello.
Okay, hello.
She is
Hello, hi.
in
Hi,
Canada.
nice to see
Hi, how are
you.
you all?
This one
Very
and
nice.
this
So
one.
interesting.
Both Tina's and Kermin, they are my two daughters.
Very good.
And she's in Canada.
Okay, very good.
We are Toronto time, so it's like 11 o'clock. You're California, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
Good. We're glad you could join us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting.
Thank you. Elena, you had a question?
Yeah, just a quick one. Thank you for that lovely talk. I really enjoyed hearing about the parallels with Theosophy. I am a
Yes.
little bit curious about a concept of karma and reincarnation in the religion. Does that exist?
Did you say that was a quick question, Elena?
Just it could be a yes and no.
No, you see, I will tell you, I knew this question should come up if people have concentrated on my talk, you see, I have said in between that Alexandra destroyed our library completely, but some remnants had remained. And from that, our priests and the scholars put together what was necessary for that period. There may have been books on theosophy, because there are references in all our literature, in all our scriptures here and there, that the body is destroyed, but the soul comes back. But there is no authentic book on which we can depend upon. And that is why, but it is common sense that one child is born in the palace and another is born in a jhoppadpatti, that means in a slum. Why? So if you go into details, you come to know that this is the law of karma. You sow, so shall you reap. But since we have nothing concrete in our scriptures, I have avoided that in putting on my paper. But this is what I can tell you. We do believe in reincarnation. We do, but there are two schools of thought. So it is better not to go in controversy, but you are very right. Since my religion, Zoroastrianism, is on and Theosophy go together, there has to be karma, there has to be reincarnation. Okay?
Sister Aban,
Yes.
if I may just add that theosophical literature has a very nice book which is called The Lives of Alcyone.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it is out of print by the Theosophical Publishing House. But luckily, this book is available on the net for free. And this describes the last 48 incarnations of J. Krishnamurti, whose soul name given is Alcyone in this. So if one goes through these life stories, it is mainly to demonstrate how the law of karma and the law of evolution works from lives to life. So anyone who is interested in studying the law of karma, this is the book which theosophical leaders have given us to study, and they wrote it through clairvoyance. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I can add here that 46th chapter, 46th life of Alcyone is on Zarathustra. I wanted to tell you in the beginning only, but then I just avoided it. But now that you have come out with it, 46th chapter, and whilst writing, because Madhyo Sharem, Madhyogam, all these names, Leadbeater has even said these names are so very difficult to pronounce because they are all ancient Persian names from the ancient times, And 46th life of Alcyone means how many years ahead? I can't count them even. Anything else?
With the permission of Aban and Michelle, can I add something, information of interest?
Yes, please.
And this is more to Elena, who I know is a great specialist in the secret doctrine, Blavatsky. If you read the secret doctrine, Blavatsky never misses a point in mentioning Zoroastrianism as much as the Kabbalah, which means she had, in fact, I think the first issue or the second issue of the magazine, The Theosophist, she extensively talks about Zoroastrianism. So she was well aware of the contribution of Zoroastrianism, which is actually, they say, is the seed for Abrahamic religions. In fact, yes, the seed of Abrahamic religion. That's point number one. And number two, and number two of importance is she talks about her experiences in the Armenian mountains where the fire temples are being destroyed by the Russians. So there are very interesting narratives in the Secret Doctrine and Blavatsky's collective writings on Zoroastrianism. Point number one. Number two, more than Blavatsky, we have missed out a very important source of Zoroastrianism from Rudolf Steiner. Steiner was so fascinated that he's written a book on Zoroastrianism, and I think he should come back again because he talks about the Ahriman, the satanic forces, which I think is now Ahriman. Yeah, so he talks about that, which I think Theosophists are now opening up, fortunately. And I'm from the virtual center. We are trying to build a platform of all Theosophists coming in, so we get the old repository of information, like Steiner's information, which has been missed out, and Annie Besant, Leadbeater, they all had their contribution. In Olcott has contributed to Buddhism and as much to Zoroastrianism. If you listen to his talks in Mumbai, there are records available. So here's a missing point, a missing link. I'm glad Aban and Michelle have brought the resurfaced the interest in Zoroastrianism. And our sister who's here has also done a research, Mehrangis, which you can also take from us from the Virtual Center of Theosophical Studies. We have done a presentation on Zoroastrianism, which was launched in Mumbai. So there's a lot of information available from Blavatsky Lodge for you to share and talk back with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. What I will do is ask if we can get the links to anything, and then I will put those below the talk on our YouTube page, and then anyone who comes to watch it can have those extra information. Thank you. Thank you.
So much.
Thank you very much, everybody, for suffering me for such a long time.
No. This was a blessing. This was a blessing. So are there any last questions?
I do have a quick question, Michelle.
I thought so, Mihaela, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was very interested about the Venus and the hierarchy. What was, I didn't really understand, the Zoroastrian came from Venus, or can you just touch quickly on that, please? The whole presentation was fascinating. Thank you so much for putting so much effort and time. It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful religion, I think.
You see, according to the Theosophical teachings, millions of years ago, I said that the lords of flame came from Venus, because at that time, our humanity was not matured enough to have their own people propagating about the higher consciousness or whatever Theosophy teaches us. So they incarnated all these Manus, if I can use that word, the Manus. There were many Manus who came at every Pralaya. These are the Sanskrit words. And so you see, these Manus and all these, they realized that the humanity is not yet matured. So Venus had to come down on Earth to create better life for everyone. And once we all were established, they retreated. And the humans only started reincarnating and getting their consciousness improved. Evolution took place. As you know, how evolution, even as a mankind also, we were also, I wouldn't say like animals, but much lower in strata. And as time passed, millions of years took time to make what we are. And that is why, you know, if you read the book Man, How, Whence and Whither, you will get full information, much in details. I haven't done that because I have to restrict my time. At the same time, I was to speak more as a practicing Zoroastrian than as a scholar.
Yes, thank you.
So that is why it is limited.
Yes, if I remember correctly, isn't that called the Satya Yuga, or the Golden Age, when the gods were on Earth and humanity was?
Yes, then Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and now Kali Yuga, where everything is bad.
Boo, boo, boo. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, great. Well, thank you. Have a good
Very
day.
much.
It's morning for you. The rest of us
Yes.
enjoy the
And
night.
good night for you all.
Yes.